Hello, I'm Jessie Macy, and this is my presentation on fair use and copyright rules and laws governing what our students use and create in the classroom. I have created my presentation here on Jamboard. This is my first time to use Jamboard. And so if I used this at a PD at my school, I would think that most of the other teachers in my building have also never used Jamboard. It's not something that's ever been mentioned or brought up in any of my meetings that I've ever been in. So I would want to set it up in a way that the teachers could kind of play around with it and get comfortable with it, and see how it could be used in the classroom to teach some of these concepts. So, my very first slide here on my Jamboard is a little who's here. This allows the teachers to go over, grab a sticky note, type in their name, and then the sticky note shows up there. And we can kind of see everyone's names as they're joining in and making sure that we're on board and they can learn the sticky note feature. The next one is also a similar one. This one's kind of fun. They can go grab a sticky note that's already out there available, or they can go and select another sticky note, change the color, write their name, and and then they can move their sticky note around and say, well, I'm feeling happy today. And so they could put theirs and we can see, kind of fill the room. This would be a really great idea to use in the classroom to see how students are feeling, kind of gauge the room before you begin a lesson. That can be very helpful at times as well. And this could be also used with more content level, where you could have 4 corners and we'll do another slide that's similar to that later on. So I would be talking to the teachers about this, different ways that we might use it. Now we're getting into the actual content. Here are 2 very popular memes. I have seen both of these. I absolutely love these. This one, how I imagine myself as a teacher, how I feel as a teacher. This is a great image from the Jurassic Park movies. And then this one, I love this and just believe it is so unbelievably accurate. As a high school teacher, I started out as a high school teacher. This is definitely how I looked over at the elementary teachers. Those elementary teachers, they just go above and beyond. They are ready to put on a show every day. And then now, since I'm a middle school teacher, I could definitely identify with this feeling. Okay, now this leads me into the whole idea of fair use. Now, both of these images at the bottom here, this one from Jurassic Park and then this one from 300, both come from movies. Is it okay that someone has pulled this picture, this image from these movies that they did not create and made it into a meme? Would that be considered fair use? Or are these images copyrighted? So that's kind of what we're talking about today. And this would be a great way to start with students as well. Okay, so let's do a little thinking. What do you already know about plagiarism? Go ahead and write down what you think that you know about plagiarism. Put it on the sticky notes. This is what I would do here, and that way I could see how the teachers are feeling about this. What do they already know about copyright? What do they know about fair use and plagiarism? This one is another great use of a Jamboard session. We have a responsibility to teach students about plagiarism and fair use of third-party materials. We have our question in the middle. And then everyone is able to go and grab a sticky note. And they then can say, they can put their name under, I strongly agree, or you know what? I somewhat disagree. I don't know that it is our responsibility at this point in age. Maybe students are too young to learn about this. They might have opinions on how they feel about these things. And we would discuss this here. Then this would be when we are getting up and moving around the room. I would have a couple of pieces of student work posted that has the pieces of third-party materials embedded in their work. And I would have the teachers go to the spot that they feel like that the use of the material would be an infringement on copyright rules. So I would have a different piece of text here in spot A over in the room, part B, C, and D. This would get people up and moving around a little bit and looking at actual hard copy pieces. I would have this on the board here as people finished up that activity. We talked about it. It's just a beautiful smoky mountain. Just having a minute to get everybody kind of back settled, give everybody a second. Sometimes that helps. And just this is almost like a little mini movie. It's just the same thing playing over and over again, yes, but it has a relaxing, calming effect. My students really enjoy the ones that have like the fish swimming across the board. So something similar to that, just to incorporate just for kind of fun. So that's why I put that here. Okay, now we're going to talk about what is copyright. Copyright law gives creators the right to decide what happens to the work they create. And as a creator, you can decide who does the following: who gets to make copies, distribute copies, display or perform the work in public, or make derivative works. Derivative works like memes. Basically, if it involves creativity and it's written down, recorded, or saved, then it is protected by copyright. So then it comes over into what is fair use of copyrighted materials. Fair use is an important part of copyright that allows us to use copyrighted protected work without permission in limited ways that are fair to the owner and creator. Unfortunately, there's no specific rule about what counts as fair use, and that's where it gets a little tricky. And that is why I have this right here. Now, I did not create this. I took this from Creative Commons. I love how you have the starting point of, may I use this? Then you can ask yourself these questions. Excuse me. Is it old enough? Goodness. Excuse me. Is it old enough to be in the public domain? Okay, yes or no? Yes, okay, use it. No, maybe it's not that old. So let's go to the next question. Did the creator choose a Creative Commons license to allow sharing without permission? Yes, use it. No, okay, weigh these options together to decide if you have legitimate fair use claim. Okay, so you kind of go through, is the purpose and character of your use negative at all? If it is purely educational use, that is going to help you a great deal. Are you doing something to the nature of the work that's like a breach of integrity? And is there going to be an effect on the original market of what you're taking? Like, for example, looking at those memes, us having a meme with a Jurassic Park picture at the bottom does not affect the sales of that movie. So that would be an example of this right here. Okay, so this is a point when I would have teachers brainstorm some different ways in their classes that they could incorporate discussion, talk, anything about these issues. Because I would want to hear different ideas from teachers that are teaching in different disciplines. I will have teachers in history, science, electives, Spanish, all in the room together. Computer courses. I want to be able to give them some ideas. And then what I will do is we'll kind of drag over some of my most favorite ideas over here. And then I'm going to do a screenshot of this and share it with the teachers. I'm going to put it in our Google Drive, our shared drive. That way they have in a place, a spot that can keep that. Okay. And so this would be very helpful to them. This one's fun. This is also a really good example of something that we could use with students. I would have each teacher, right, each learner that's in my professional development, go grab a sticky note, write something that they know. What are they still wondering, or what's something that they learned? I would let them pick which one they want to do. They do not have to put one under each one if they don't want to. Now, if I was doing this with students, I might have them pick two, add their name to their sticky note and write what they're thinking, and put one under one and one in another one. That way I could really kind of see, are they still wondering about something? What is something that all of them seem to really have down on their learning? This gives the facilitator a lot of feedback. Speaking of feedback, we have our exit ticket here. We have the cute little dog that I'm still confused versus this cat who's got it. He's got it down. So they could grab a sticky note again, have their name on it, and then they can kind of put their little sticky note, and they can also make their sticky notes smaller. I might show them so that there could be lots of room for other sticky notes. So hopefully they'd all be down in this area after all of our works and discussions. This is what I would want to see for sure. And then after we kind of see where everybody's at, I might ask, do you mind sharing what questions do you have at this point? Maybe I could clear up some of the confusion right then, immediately before the session ends. But that's always a great idea to do that end. Then we have my last and final slide here. It's just my citations. I got all of this information and images from these sites, and I wanted to have that on here as well. So I would also kind of, if I had time with my teachers, kind of just show them how this works up here, where you can expand your frames. You can go back through your frames here, and you can move things around. And we're back at the very beginning. This is a really neat tool. I could see how it would be very nice to use with students, make it more interactive. And it's something that I can see me using in the future. Thank you very much.